follow him. I'm going to follow him. Because that's some kind of commitment. And when you have a leader that is that committed, as I can see in your face right now, it fosters a kind of dedication, a loyalty, an anticipation of great things to come. Decision, discipline, determination. That's what we need. Because when the obstacles come, we need something that's going to allow us to say, listen, I see it, and I will go over it, under it, through it, or around it. But I will, in the words of Winston Churchill, repeat after me, please, never give up. Never give up. Never give up.
Denise Young, give her a round of applause. You did real good, Denise. All right, huh? All right, she passed this test. Did she pass the test? Oh, very good. She has a CD. I'm interviewing her called "Finding Yourself," and she will have it out front. So make sure you help her launch her career. Repeat after me, please. Help somebody, and help yourself, because what you give is what you get. Yes, so I encourage you to help her with a career by purchasing her first CD. And if you know anybody that need a motivational speaker, I think she can measure up for the task. Give her another round of applause. I want to give you some other things right now. I want you to repeat after me, please. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Write that down. And that's one of the things you want to coach your people through. See, the reason that people are going to call you is because something has happened to them that they can't deal with. And part of what you want to do is to begin to anchor them and say, listen, with power, feeling, and conviction, when things go wrong, don't go with them. And write this down. I'm going to help you through this. I'm going to help you through this. People need to know that they can get some help and assistance. And they also need to know that they can do it. And what you're going to sell them on, that, hey, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to help you connect with your power to get through this, because you can. And because things aren't the way that you want them to be right now, don't worry about it. Don't fall apart. What we have to do is step back and write this down. Willie Jolly wrote this. He wrote a book. A setback is a setup for a comeback. A setback is a setup for a comeback. See, sometimes you don't have a lot of time to talk to people to help them to begin to get into a state of consciousness to believe they can do it. So look here, hey, look, and write this down. Whenever you're speaking with people, you can't be casual on the phone. As a coach, you've got to come through that telephone and write this down. Speak with power, feeling, and conviction. You got to have some tools that you can draw on. Things that you can say that can snap them into where you want them to be. Write this down. Repeat after me, please. No test, no testimony. Yes, no test, no testimony. I got a saying I love very much on one of my tapes: when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You want to have some tools that you can draw on, but why? Because all of us are going to take some hits. Over the next year, all of us personally will experience at least 3 tragedies will strike us personally or someone we care about. It's called life. It's not personal. And don't say, well, why did this have to happen to me? Why not you? Who would you suggest? You want to give us some names? It's called life. So what? Now what? You say, I understand what you're going through, but where do we go from here? What can we build on now? We can't unscramble those eggs. Life happens to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. What did Forrest Gump say? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Am I correct? And so you have to deal with it. You have to handle it. And as they call and talk with you, your ability to convince them, number one, that they can do it, they have the power to work through this, and to remind them, say, look, you've been in a worse situation before, and you made it through that, and you're going to make it through this. You know, Joe Frazier said this one time. He said, and this is the value of coaching, he said, all of us at different points in our lives are like a blind man standing on the corner waiting for someone to lead us across. All of us have been staggered by life, that we couldn't see our way, and we needed someone to help us through. When the doctor looked at me and said the three words, "You have cancer," people I used to coach had to coach me. People I used to encourage had to encourage me. People who I used to give a sense of hope had to give me a sense of hope. Had to tell me the same thing I used to tell them. Why? Because it was my time now. It was my turn. I took a hit, and I couldn't think straight. And everything that I knew went out of the window. I was staggered, and I needed to be coached through it. And I got every healing tape, every book. I joined every church I could run into. I increased my tithes by 30%. It's amazing how much you can get spiritual when you think you're going to die. I was calling on Jesus, Yahweh, everybody. I was praying so much, I got ashamed of myself. I said, Lord, if you ain't going to take it away, at least move it. Put it in my toe. Okay. You know, and let me tell you, sometimes people don't know what to say, and they end up saying something dumb like, lady came, oh, my father died of prostate cancer. I said, I don't want to hear that. Tell me somebody that lived. Don't bring me that kind of news. I don't want that a part of my thinking, all right? Don't let nobody bring you no bad news when you're going through some stuff. All right, now, something else that's important, and that is, as you look at your life and look into the future and think about the people that you're going to be helping, I want you to write this down. I want you to write down, I expect to be successful. If you ask most people, do you want to be successful? Most people will say yes. I asked my oldest son, I said, Calvin, let's go for a walk. This is my namesake, Leslie Calvin Brown, Jr. I stopped him. I said, son, do you want to be successful? He said, yes, sir, Dad. Very good. Let's walk further, son. Walk further. And I stopped him and asked him another question. I said, Calvin, do you expect to be successful? Calvin did not answer immediately. See, want shows up in conversation. Expectation shows up in preparation. See, you expect to be successful because you decided to take the GSI course on becoming a master coach. You are willing to invest your time, your money, your energy to learn something that could upgrade your knowledge to give you an advantage in the marketplace. There are 200 million people in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Only a handful of master coaches, and they're in this room. you got a big market. Give yourselves a round of applause. So with what you're armed with the training that you're going to receive, leave here knowing that you have an advantage. Repeat after me, please. You got to be hungry together, please. Somebody asked me to tell this story. Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, what do you want to do with your life, young man? I said, sir, I want to be successful. He said, Mr. Brown, if you want to be successful in life, you want to be hungry. You've got to be hungry. I said, what is it you want to be successful at, young man? I said, sir, I want to be a disc jockey, sir. He says, is that right? I said, yes, sir. He said, you got to be hungry. I said, you keep on saying I've got to be hungry. What do you mean by that? He said, people that are hungry are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry are willing to invest in themselves. That's what you've done. People that are hungry are willing to work on themselves. That's what you're doing. People that are hungry are willing to see themselves already there. People that are hungry are disciplined. They are focused. They are relentless. They're unstoppable. They're no matter what people. They make things happen no matter what. That's what you have to empower people to become, no matter what people. If it's hard, then you do it hard. Whatever is required. People that are hungry are willing to pay the price. You want to be a disc jockey? I said, yes, sir. He said, I want you to spend time working on your mind, young man. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. He said, I want you to work on your communication skills because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. I want you to start working now, Mr. Brown, to develop the format that you're going to have, your personality, the kind of program you're going to have when you're on the air. I want you to listen to Paul Harvey. He's the world's greatest communicator. Always emulate people that are doing what it is you want to do. Remember, Mr. Brown, you got to be hungry. I said, Mr. Washington, I want to be a disc jockey, but I don't have a job yet. And he quoted Whitney Young. He said, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. You got to be hungry, young man. So I said, I am hungry, sir. I'm hungry to take care of my mother. I'm hungry to make something of myself. And so he told me to start drilling and training and practicing every day, working on myself, visualizing myself, being behind the microphone, carrying myself and expecting through my preparation, through my development, through my being focused and on purpose, expecting to become a disc jockey and let everything in my being resonate with that kind of spirit and that kind of energy. And then pretty soon I went to apply for a job on Miami Beach with Milton Butterball Smith, the program director. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, do you have any journalism in your background? I said, no, sir, I don't. You have any experience in broadcasting? I said, no, sir, I don't. I said, but I'm good, sir. Let me audition for you, sir. Let me show you how good I am. I practice every day. He said, I'm sorry, I don't have any job for you. I was devastated. I went back and I told Mr. Washington. I said, Mr. Washington, they said no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, make no you're a vitamin. You got to be hungry. Go back again. Yes, sir. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. Young man, weren't you here yesterday? Yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? Yes, sir, you did. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. He said nobody was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. He said, I know what your name is. Weren't you here the last 2 days? Yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? Yes, sir, you did. He said, then why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now, don't you come back here again. I came back the next day talking loud, looking happy like I've seen him for the first time. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you? He looked at me with rage. He says, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. Scripture says the greatest among you will be your servant. You want to be successful in this millennium as a coach? Write this down. The people that will be successful will provide more service than they get paid for. You must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. You must provide more service than you get paid for. I looked at the speakers out here. I don't have their credentials. I still don't. I don't have the education they have. I don't have the staff they have. I trained myself to speak extemporaneously. I trained myself to read 2 to 3 books a week. I trained myself to do research on the corporations and organizations. They don't pay me for that. I come in and I interview them. I read their material, and I custom design my presentation to fit the occasion. I could come up with a speech that's memorized just like everybody else and drop it all over the country. It'd be easy to do that, to just memorize and regurgitate something, but it's much more challenging to stand up here and create it on the spot. That sets me apart. Do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail, and they'll talk about you and pay you good money too. Oh, if I'm hot, don't throw no water on me. Let me burn, let me burn, let me burn. Oh, I feel like coming out there giving all of you $1,000 a piece for watching me. Come on out here. And so at any rate, I went to WMBM radio station. Milton Butterball Smith was the program director. I started going to the station, volunteering around the station, going in the control room, watching the disc jockeys, work their hands on the control board, expecting and knowing my time would come, memorizing their hand movements on the control board, going to get their lunch and their dinner. Sometimes you got to pay your dues, sacrifice before you reign. Pretty soon they trusted me to pick up entertainers that came in their big, long Cadillacs that came to town. I would drive them all over Miami Beach. Entertainers like Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. Then one day, I was at the radio station, and a disc jockey by the name of Rockin' Roger was drinking while he was on the air. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there. Rock was drinking so much he began to slur his words. It was obvious he could not complete his show. He was about to fall off his chair, and there I was looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. I was saying, drink, Rock, drink. Drink, Rock. I'd have gone to get him some more if he'd asked me to. Then pretty soon, the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go on that segue the records, but don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get old Rock out of the way. I put on a fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single, love to mingle, certified, bona fide, dutifully qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. Shake someone's hand on your right and left around the table and say, you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. And so the people that are going to make the GSI system work and use the training and the coaching and the manual and all the tools and materials to help coach people through the challenges of life, to help them to get unstuck and to walk into their power and their greatness, are hungry. And that's who you are. That's why you showed up. That's why you joined. That's why you invested your money. That's why you're here. You're different. You're uncommon. One great American said, I choose not to be common. I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security.
I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will never cower before a master nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's what it means to be a part of GSI. An uncommon desire to control your future, to make an impact with your life, to live a life of contribution, and make a difference on the planet. Give yourselves a round of applause. So I'd like to leave this with you. I'd like to thank Gary for giving Denise and I the opportunity to address you. And I say that you have greatness within you. For those of you that like to get our material, you can get it on our website, lesbrown.com. And you tell them you're from GSI, you get a 30% discount on anything that you purchase. I'd like to leave this with you that I'm known for, that my mother used to love to hear me say before she passed. And I dedicate this to you. I encourage you to give Denise another round of applause for her presentation. Thank you, Denise. You done yourself proud, young lady. Very good. I encourage you to get her CD that we're doing together. You know, I want to help and develop other speakers before I get one foot on the banana peel and the other one in the graveyard. So it's about leaving a legacy, and that's what Gary's about, leaving a legacy. I'd like to dedicate this to you. As coaches, as master coaches, when you leave here, who hold yourselves to high standards, who care enough about yourself and your profession and your clients and your customers to expose yourself to the very best state-of-the-art training that you receive from Gary Sharkey. I'd like to leave this with you. And it says simply this. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it. And if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. If dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, Denise Young, and GSI, Pride and Joy. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you so much.